After I start, okay. Go live. Okay, we're going live. And the camera's there? Yeah. Okay, we are live. We are currently live. And welcome. Hello, one person. We're going live. Hi, good day, Sarah. Scottish Diane has joined us. Yes, she has. How are you? Hi, Nikki. Hi, Nikki B145. How are you? Welcome. I love Jones 14. The Wait. The Wait is one of our loyal fans. Paulette, Jane Weber, Scottish Diane shared. Thank you, Scottish Diane. Today we have an absolute special broadcast, a collaborative broadcast across the Atlantic. We have Scottish Diane in Scotland, and we are here in Hicksville, Long Island, New York. But soon you'll see this on the screen. And Carla is here, as usual, on a Friday. History needs you. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. We've got a lot of people right away. Joel's on. How are you? And Paulette invited followers. Wow. Very cool. There we go. Look at that. That is stunning. Good to see you again. Hello. Hello. 21 people have joined us already. So, Scottish Diane, who's just, you must follow her immediately. It's a requirement to follow her. Hi, everybody. We're doing an experimental broadcast today. We're doing a collaborative broadcast across the Atlantic. So we're here with Scottish Diane in Scotland. I'm Fred Holtz. I'm a licensed psychologist, and I'm part of Psychological Services Long Island. The website is right down there. And I'm with
Dr. Carla Bernstein. Hi, guys. This is really cool for me. It's great that we have Scottish Diane here, and that's split screen. It's super cool.
It's split screen. It's egg drop. It's everything there is to have here. So today we're gonna talk about not just overcoming trauma and not just overcoming something bad that happened in your life, but actually flourishing. So we're going to discuss and talk about techniques, things you can do, humor, coping strategies, socializing, getting help, anything. Any topic is open. So, what's that? Oh, have you introduced yourself? Scottish Diane.
No. Hello, everybody. I am Scottish Diane, and I normally periscope comedy and cooking, etc. Quite positive, upbeat scopes. Hello, people. And sorry, I can't actually read your comments because I am facing the screen. So sorry for my followers. I see a few of you are in. Sorry.
That's quite all right, because we're going to read the comments, and if we answer anything or address anything, you're going to know about it. Don't worry. It says, welcome back, we missed you. Trabatista. So for those fans who are coming from Scottish Diane's fan base, we welcome you, and thank you for joining us. And I hope you enjoy the broadcast. So first of all, at any time, if you have any questions about trauma, overcoming trauma, coping with trauma, staying positive, just ask. We will answer every question from 3 different perspectives. From a psychological point of view, from a comedian's point of view, from just a positive person's point of view. So what would you, but we're also going to interview each other. So, define trauma. We have our first question from Ailey93. Define trauma. Okay, so trauma to me is an event that has a negative consequence that's overwhelming. Like, there's difficult things that happen to people, and that's kind of normal, and it's not trauma. Trauma reaches a level that overwhelms your system, either emotionally, physically, or psychologically. That's just my definition, and that's how I view it. What's that? Oh, that's all right. Okay. What would you say, Carla? What is your definition of trauma?
I agree. So trauma is very personal. Events or situations can occur to specific people and affect them in a way that others will not be affected. So trauma is any event or situation or circumstance that occurs that is impacting on an individual in a negative way. So I agree.
And someone said, like when I ran over my nephew with a lawnmower, I would say that's traumatic for both of you, and the lawnmower as well.
Diane, do you agree with us, or do you have a different perspective?
Yeah, I would say trauma is like a big event that would normally not really happen, and you're not really prepared for the event, and it normally is a negative or sad or yeah, something quite like not everyday normal. Yeah.
Okay, so trauma is beyond the normal range of experiences. It's personal, and you said something very interesting that you're not prepared for. I think that's a good definition. So we've got our definition. Cindy from Cindy GA, welcome. If you're just coming to the broadcast for the first time, especially mine, if you're a fan of Scottish Diane's, I welcome you. Please follow us, and we will follow you back. Okay, do we have any questions about trauma? And so may I ask? I'm going to ask everybody. Happy National Donut Day. Yes. Frida, it is National Donut Day in America.
Yeah.
Oh, now I see this. The what do you call it? The egg drop has appeared. So welcome. Thank you very much. If any of you have had experience with trauma and want to share it or just ask questions, please feel free to ask questions. So I'm going to bring up this topic. One way that I know helps with trauma is to develop a sense of humor, to expose yourself to the ridiculous. And Scottish Diane, I know you have a good sense of humor. So how do you develop a sense of humor even in the face of trauma?
For me, I think I've used it as a coping mechanism from an early age. So I have used it like as if another life to escape from my life. So I grew up with not a really good childhood. So it started when I was young, and I knew when I did act or dance, it took me away, from what was going on. So really, from an early age, I knew I could use this tool to kind of escape, just for a moment, so really, comedy has been in my from a very early age.
And that's a very healthy coping skill
Yes.
to implement, whether it's dance or acting or comedy. That is a very healthy escape. That is something that I praise, and it's fantastic that you were able to find it at an early age, because that can really help, like you said, escape even for a moment. It gives you that sense of freedom and that sense of I'm okay, and that sense of security, which is fantastic.
And I think it's one of your followers, Marabant, said that humor is a lifesaver. That was her comment. We have to pass the comments because she can't read them right now.
Sure.
So.
No, I've actually moved the phone, folks, so I can actually see it. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Excellent.
I also wanted to say is fake it till you make it was a big thing, So even if you don't feel that in that moment, you start to, become that. So it's a lot of that is to do with, like, I wasn't born funny. I didn't come out my mum's womb and I was telling jokes. I obviously reached myself to a stage, it didn't happen overnight, and that's what I try to tell everybody. Everyone's a beginner at something, so I think the thing is I always get, I can't be funny, I don't know how to be funny, I don't know how to do jokes or, stuff like that. And I think acting's got a lot to do with it.
That's a good point. So when I talk to clients, I talk about like positive affirmations, things that they say about themselves that help them cope. And I do say, even if you don't believe it at first, eventually you internalize it. We all internalize all the negative things that people say. So if you keep a positive dialogue with yourself, you eventually internalize it. So for short, fake it till you make it. There was a good question that I don't know if you caught it, but
what happens if there's an incident?
Like the question is very practical. So what happens like after an incident? There's some traumatic incident. What do you do therapeutically? So do you want to answer that one?
Well, first I would do what's most comfortable for you. So whether that's seeking out treatment to go see a psychologist or some other form of mental health worker to help you work through the situation, Sometimes people need space and time to process it on their own and then seek treatment. Making sure you're safe is very important. Also, trauma can occur in other ways, like a disaster, a natural disaster. For example, like
Manchester.
well, not
a natural
disaster. So, like in New Orleans, when the flooding came and all that, and people lost their homes and all of that stuff, you can go to the Red Cross and get counseling there because it's more of a nature-based versus from another person. So that's very important. And there are many different types of therapy to go into. There's cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy. There's specific trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy. There's narrative therapy. So there's so many different kinds. There's drama therapy by engaging in the drama to help you process everything. So there's so many different types that are out there for different individuals.
I think it's not always possible, but I think it's helpful to find other people who've been through similar, not necessarily exactly the same trauma, but similar. So you know you're not alone, and you know your reaction is not so unusual, and it's not, that it's kind of normal to react that way to a traumatic situation. What's some other advice you have, Diane, from across the Atlantic?
I think also acceptance is a big thing. Acceptance of the situation, maybe acceptance that you can't change the situation. And I think that's a really, really big thing. Like, I've had a couple of traumas recently where I've lost people, and I sometimes can't accept that. I can't accept, even though it's there in black and white, so I'm having to use tools like radical acceptance just now,
right.
Just to get me through a bereavement sort of thing, But all these tools, I have to say, folks, is these little tools, just one small step at a time.
Yes.
Don't be running out there looking for a big, huge thing to cover, because at the same time you don't want to
Thank you for the hearts.
and not deal with the problem. So you don't want to mask it, but at the same time you need a distraction. So I read a book, or I read a funny book, or I read a couple of lines of something. I'll take it in, I reaffirm it to myself. Just small things, folks, small things, and just small tiny baby steps, and then see when you look back over a year, folks, you realise, whoa, things I was falling apart at the beginning, suicide, whatever feelings you've got going on, and then 12 months down the line, you're ready for a career, you're ready for a new life, you know what I mean, you're a changed person just by doing things small and in your time. Don't feel there's a rush, and if somebody tells you you've got to rush, so don't listen. You go with your body, no anybody else's, or what the world says you should do or be like. You be you. Don't be scared.
Absolutely.
That's excellent. So one thing I tell people, particularly with grief, is there's no necessarily correct way to grieve, and there's no time frame. Some people, they don't cry when the thing happens, and they think, oh my God, what's wrong with me? But it's totally normal. There's a delayed effect. So, and one thing somebody asked, they said it's very difficult to get out of a situation. You feel like it'll never end, like it will never get better. But it does get better. It doesn't necessarily go away completely, but it does get better. So you said, a year ago, maybe you couldn't imagine that now you're back in your career, you're back doing things, you're coping. It's not perfect, of course, and it's not magical, but it's step by step. So you pick one step and do it.
Absolutely. Hi, Tyrone.
Welcome. I just want to say thank you to all the constant, steady flow of hearts, and thanks for joining us. Especially, thanks for trusting us if you're a follower of Scottish Diane. I appreciate it. I hope it goes the other way too, and I hope my followers, please, immediately, it's a requirement of the broadcast, you must follow Scottish Diane. She's amazing.
So things take time, and one thing that Diane said...
I'm going to get to that.
It does take...
Right.
I just read that person's comment, and they said it's been years. I don't ever believe I'll be better. You know, I don't ever think I'll be over the bereavement. But the thing is that I'm living in what they would want me to continue on. I was in such a mess where I was wondering if my life was worthy of being here or not being here. So that's where I got to thinking, well, my life isn't worth anything because I've lost my daughter, I've lost my partner. There's no point in going on anymore. And then you realise, well, there isn't just you. There's other things in there. All I can say is, folks, I just took it day by day and take minute by minute. The minutes became 10 minutes. 10 minutes became an hour. I can only share with you that 12 months ago I was really in a bad way, and here I am today. And if people look back here on my periscope, they'll see a big difference.
And also,
I'm sorry. So, but Diane, do you see now how much you have to contribute? Because one thing I know from working with people who've been through trauma, one of the best things they do to cope is they become an advocate. Like they help other people. If it's a specific type, let's say it's some kind of crime in that, they'll become an advocate for that, for victims of that crime or victims of that disease, or like it helps so much because the trauma you've been through is almost it's unbearable. So you have to have these extreme ways of coping, like helping other people. But somehow that works as humans. And I know that you help a great deal of people, and a great deal of people are...
That person's saying that they can't sleep. Can I just tell you?
Go right ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't actually sleep now, so I just want you to know that I feel the same as you, and I am not sleeping. I'm sleeping a couple of hours a night. Sleep is very important to your mind, and if that was your problem, I would definitely go and advise you to get some help with some sleep, because sleep is going to be the healing part. It's if you're not sleeping and you're only sleeping a couple of hours, you're not really going to heal yourself. And I had to go and get a bit of help, and I still have difficulties, and I still have to take stuff now and then to help me sleep. So what you're saying is normal, but you don't want it to get to a stage where it affects your mind, the lack of sleep. And I've actually had that with lack of sleep, and I actually had sleep psychosis, it's called. So that's due to lack of sleep. So really you want to be keeping on top of that. And if it's getting to a stage where this lack of sleep is so unbearable, you really want to be seeing the doctor to try and help you with that.
I agree. So therapy is really beneficial, especially for trauma. So the individual he was talking about, the trauma that's affected you for years and the lack of sleep, if you're in therapy and you like your psychologist, that's fantastic. If you are not in therapy or you do not like your psychologist, I urge you to find someone new, because treatment and when you're trusting of your psychologist, it really can help. I treated a patient with PTSD for 2 years, and in the beginning, solid nightmares, really rocky history, so many different symptoms, and then 2 years later, she has come out of it and is able to really deal with things and talk about feelings and sleep and have all of these things, and just seeing the difference is huge. Everyone can afford therapy in different settings, so you just need to find the right setting. I don't know where you live, but in the States, we have universities where people are practicing, learning how to be psychologists. You can go there, they have sliding scales. You can go to hospitals, they take Medicaid, Medicare. There's so many different places you can go, so I promise you that you can find therapy within your budget.
A close friend, going to the beach is therapy, good advice. Also, so to the person who cannot sleep, let me just confirm that psychologists, psychiatrists, and mental health professionals, sometimes you work on sleep first, even before anything else. So, Diane, you're correct. Sleep is like a core thing you must have for mental health. And it does also have to do with dreams. Like when you dream, you release some kind of energy, and it, like when you say like lack of sleep psychosis, it's partially because of the rest, and it's partially because you're not able to dream, believe it or not. But going back to that person who can't sleep, I know I give this advice so much. Oh, so it's 13.
Where in California?
We're in California. So I give this advice all the time, but if you learn how to relax, if you do a relaxation training program, and we do have a free relaxation page after page on the website, it's totally free. So to learn how to visualize, learn how to breathe, paced breathing, muscle relaxation, just all, and there's also like affirmations you can say to yourself. So it's all there on the website for free. So just go there, pslongisland.com. It'll help if you practice the relaxation 5 minutes before you go to sleep. Guaranteed, if you do it a few times, like for a week, it will start to help. Yes, it's Scottish Diane, our special guest near Anaheim. Okay, go Anaheim Angels.
Okay, so I'm looking something up for you.
Carl is looking stuff up for him. Any other questions while we're at it? Look at this, so many hearts. I really appreciate it.
So sorry to cut you off.
I would guess that Diane's fans are the best people on earth.
So
is there any service for that man in California?
So UCLA. I would check out UCLA because you said Orange County. I can look into other ones. There's also a university called Antioch University, but that's a little smaller. But I would definitely check out UCLA and some of the UC schools in Cali, and they have psychology programs. Go there because they can either steer you to exactly where a sliding scale clinic will be, or you can see trainees there if they have their own entity. UCLA and big schools, USC, stuff like that, will have their own clinics built in with the university, and I promise you, they do not charge a lot.
Yeah, so a university setting or college setting is sometimes a good choice. They're sometimes free, sometimes very, very inexpensive.
When I was going through training in grad school, we see people within the university before I worked in hospitals and all of that. Some of my patients paid $2 because that's all they could afford. And so I was giving them treatment. I had supervisors making sure I wasn't doing anything by mistake or ruining anything or messing anything up. And so those trainees are so well supervised that you essentially have a whole team working for you. So trust me, check out UCLA, check out those schools. I guarantee you will find something there.
Excellent. Also, so Scottish Diane, I happen to know that you do some artwork and glass staining, and you get involved in a lot of creative activities like cooking, and that's my way of coping with things, is creativity, drawing something, doing music, listening to music, performing music, any of those things. Go ahead.
Can I just say, folks, that before, I'd say about 5 years ago, folks, I wasn't doing any art. I wasn't doing a thing. The only thing I did was music, really. But, before that, I actually said, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't try this, I constantly was going around saying, I can't do this, I can't do that. And I had a child at the time, and I instilled with confidence, and she went off to be an accountant, and there's Diane going around with no life of her own, putting herself down, etc. And it wasn't until I started to say, wait a minute here, I can go and try all these things. I've got all this inside me, and I need to go and try. And you know what, folks? I threw myself into a naked model drawing class. That was my first thing. I threw myself into. I just was like, I'm done, I'm doing it. And I've never looked back, folks. So my suggestion is to you, if you've never drew, never painted, never nothing, don't sit there and say you can't do it, because you don't know until you try. So just take one wee thing a month, do one new thing once a month, just a small wee thing, do it once a month.
I like it.
And honestly, it's breaking down your confidence, building you back up into a different, stronger person. No, Sorry, I had to get that out
No.
there, folks. I didn't want you to put me across spread that I've been a multi-talented artist forever. I've not. I've only just started doing it, folks. So
That's
fantastic.
excellent and practical advice. I like the practicality of trying one new thing a month, because it's true, you don't know about your talents until you try a few things. And everybody has a little bit of creativity, and even if you're not a wonderful artist, you're still expressing yourself, you're still producing something.
And it doesn't have to be anything that anyone ever sees
Sure.
or appreciates. Do anything that makes you
We
happy.
compare ourselves too much. We compare
Yes.
ourselves. You know, if I said, right, I'm going to do an artist, I'm looking for Van Gogh. You know, you just do you. Do you.
Exactly.
Do you.
Just because you hear the word artist, don't freak out. You know, you're good enough, you know, to be anything you want to. The world is like that box of chocolates out there, folks. And I was on the dole, I had no money, I was unemployed. I was doing, you've no idea of how bottom of the barrel I got to, folks. And you can make it out of
Good point,
you
Terry.
know.
I didn't mean to. Excellent. You don't
Absolutely.
know. And someone said a long time ago in the comments, start scoping. Yeah. So I think, Diane, scoping was therapeutic for you.
Yes. Periscope is very therapeutic to me. And when I don't want to scope, I use Periscope and make a commitment to myself. I am going to scope whether I like it or not. Because you can get too much into saying no to yourself, and then you become scared to do anything because you've said no too many times inside yourself to anything. So it really is breaking down your comfort zone to get out of that sadness you're in.
So
You can get really sucked in and live it. You become what your feelings are.
there you go.
And
So some people commented that it's very difficult to get out of it when you're hit hard. So someone said specifically that you're the best example. I like your things. You always try new things. That's true. I do try new things in the scope. We are always pushing the edge here of technology. I need to take 10 seconds and thank our producer, Michael, who's doing a phenomenal job. He set this up like in 5 seconds, sort of, and it looks great. Anyway, so it is very difficult when you're hit hard immediately after a trauma or a sustained trauma or depression or any other issue, physical health or anything else. Hi, Sarah Lou. It is difficult. It's very hard, but it can be. You gotta go.
no, he said I need a Michael.
You need a Michael. I know. I need a Michael too. I have one. I have a few Michaels. It's very hard. It's difficult, and I wanted to say I don't want to make light of it. And the advice that we give is advice. It's not therapy, but it can put you in the right direction.
Correct.
We understand it's much tougher than a scope could ever, portray, but it's not impossible.
But also, sorry,
Go ahead.
to piggyback off of both Diane Diane and Fred. So yes, when you feel stuck and you just don't want to get out of bed, instead of creating these massive goals like I'm going to go to the grocery store, or I'm going to go for a walk around the block, don't make such huge goals. I'm going to get up and change my outfit. I'm going to go and water a plant in my house. I'm going to go and grab a book from the bookshelf. Even if I don't read it, I'm going to have it next to me.
Yep.
Some little goal that every day you can say, you know what, today I changed. Tomorrow I showered. I went to the bathroom when I needed to instead of holding it for 4 hours. It doesn't matter, no matter how tiny it is. That's one thing I'm working on with one of my patients now is her goals are too big. And sometimes when you're in a place, you have to say goodbye to the huge goals. You'll get there because you'll take little one, and all of a sudden you'll see my goal of going to the grocery store, whereas a week ago I couldn't do it. Today, I showered, the next day I changed my clothes, and then I took a drive around the block, or I took a walk around the block to the point where you finally get to the grocery store. So those small minutes that turn into hours and days, also little tiny tasks that other people laugh, like, oh, really, you can't take a shower? Well, you know what? If it takes you a week to shower, you finally showered. Congratulations, that's your first step. So
and
whatever you need
rewarding
to do.
yourself is
Yes.
super important. When you take a baby step, give yourself a non-baby reward or reinforcement. You should say, "I did a great thing. It's amazing." You don't do workout. Okay,
I don't know that.
I don't know what that means either. But anyway, so what any other advice you have for working with trauma or like getting out of trauma? I gave you guys a follow. Thank you, Sarah Lou. If you
Thanks.
if all of the followers who follow Scottish Diane who joined us today, thank you for trusting us, and I hope you become a fan of us too. So I'm just going to repeat who we are. So
Sure.
I'm Fred Holtz. I'm a licensed psychologist in Hicksville, Long Island, New York. It's a place, and we're part of Psychological Services Long Island. The website is down there. Oh, thank you for liking my page on Facebook. I think we're friends on Facebook now, Tyrone. Thank you for that. And you are?
Dr. Carla Bernstein. I am a clinical psychologist here at the practice.
And you are required to follow Scottish Diane as part. If you're going to be part of our broadcast, we will block you unless you definitely follow Scottish Diane.
Yes, and that's a good segue to this is Scottish Diane. Please introduce yourself.
So introduce yourself one more time, Diane.
I am Scottish Diane.
And what do you do? Tell us why should people follow you?
I am a woman of all hats. I can cook, I can clean, I can dance, I can sing, I can tap dance, I can tell jokes, I can knit, I can sew.
Wow.
There's nothing really, actually there's lots I haven't tried yet, Fred, so that would be a lie if I actually said no, but I can do, I'm a woman, I'm just a woman that likes to try. Get rid of that.
The fake accent, are you kidding?
Yeah.
That's why we love her, because of her accent.
But it's I don't know, what accent you want me to put on? Are you listening to my favourite accent?
Can you do an American accent, Diane?
We've already tried this a couple of spokes ago.
Okay.
I can't really do it. I make a fool of myself. y'all, how are you all doing? I think that's deep south. I'm not sure.
It's funny. I do have a Facebook Tyrone, just a personal one, not one that's professional. That's why you can't find me.
You know it's after 2, right? You're good?
Yeah, I actually am going to say, bye guys, sorry I have to go see my patients, but thank you, and thank you, Diane. I really appreciate you joining us, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. I'm not going to be here. Well, maybe. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Carla. Well, now you're just stuck with me for a couple of minutes. They're all stuck with me. They're stuck with just us.
And I think, and also another tip, folks, is willingness. So
can you explain that? That's it.
Willingness and willfulness are two skills.
You have to. It's the last thing you think of after a trauma, but the first thing you should do. You should take care of yourself, just physically. You should, of course, you're not going to eat properly. You're not going to sleep properly. You're not going to exercise properly, but you should try anyway. You should immediately contact someone, a friend, someone who might understand. Periscope, or Facebook or whatever, like social media is.
When you lose a child, everyone around you have difficulty talking to you. You become lonely. It's a very tender subject because nobody knows what to say to you, and you're in tears. It's a raw situation. If people can just hang in that moment, and every moment, every second, every minute, it will get better. That feeling, but while you're in that moment, you shouldn't really think about anyone else. Like how guilty you feel at the family, or you know what I mean. Just be thinking about you and you in that moment. Really, everybody else will fix themselves out. You know what I mean. And it's really you. You can't even afford to think about anybody else's feelings at this moment in time if you've had a trauma. Really. So yeah, it's really.
Diane,
that makes sense.
Can I ask you something? So on the other side, people who have a friend or a loved one who has experienced a loss or a trauma and they feel helpless, what I usually tell them to do, I tell them to say to the person, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to help you, but I'm here to listen. Because people don't know how, like with that level of trauma, we're not trained to know what to say. But like you said, it's important that they still be part of your life and they still hang in there with you. So from personal experience, would you have appreciated if people said to you, listen, I don't know what to say. I'm uncomfortable, but I'm here for you. Like, is that a appropriate advice to give other people around you?
Yeah. Okay. And it's not awkward, and nor is anybody skipping around what to say. At least if you get that wee bit of directness, because you're understanding, as you say, we're not built to deal with this. You know what I mean? So I think you rationally, yes, you will be taking that rationally on board, hopefully, and you'll you know what I mean, you'll understand and they'll understand. But I would rather, right, people said, like, well, a couple of them did say, like, Diana, I really don't know what to say, right, but I'm here, my arms are open for you. So, like, that's perfect. That's a perfect way to kind of engage, and yeah, but then you also have another side where if you've got toxic people in your life and, you know, they want to be using that event and turn it around for their event.
That's terrible.
Then, you know, you've got that. So, but anyway, folks, you have to gather yourself. That is every minute that goes by. That's just taking it minute by minute. You know, don't look 6 months down the line. You know.
Right.
Doesn't cost anything to listen and support people. That's right, Sarah. And hey, Johnny, sorry, all my friends have come in. Sorry.
Good. No, we want your friends to come in. Listen, Diane. Any friend of yours is a friend of ours for sure. Like, anyone who follows you has got to be a good person. So, someone said a long time ago, early in the broadcast, that something like trauma clarifies things for you. So in a traumatic situation, you know who your friends are and you know who your toxic people are, and like it clarifies your vision and it clarifies your thoughts in a strange way. Like, look at you, you're becoming like self-actualized. You're trying so many things and you're discovering yourself again. That's amazing. And trauma, not that I would.
I'm a new me.
I knew you.
A new me, and I don't know this me because it's a new me, so I'm still getting used to it. So really, this is the thing. A trauma can really change your life. Like, you could be an alcoholic one day, and a trauma could actually just totally change. It could take something like that and make you change something in your life. Then that's what it takes. And the hardest reality was actually to sit and admit some things to myself that wasn't doing, and in the light of trauma, it all came to me, and there was a lot of resentment and hate inside me, because why have you brought this to me now, and I'm falling apart, and do you know what I mean, and just, but I knew I would have to use that to change, to get here now, if you like. That's what happened, really. And in fact, I look at my life now and the last few months, and I don't even recognise it. I don't even recognise that's Diane in there. So I don't even know how I'll be in 12 months' time. But I reckon it'll be a different Diane for the Diane that makes people know. Well, I'll still be me, if you like, but I'll have a different career and everything. So yeah, things are going to change. So I know things are going to really change for me. But that's it, folks. Just take it minute by minute. Don't rush yourself.
That's
and as everybody says, see a therapist or something. Don't be sitting there trying to deal with it yourself.
Right. Obviously, I'm going to say, like, when you reach a point where you can't deal with something yourself, if you can't get help from friends, family, or social media, definitely try to see a professional, because that's what we do. And it's a place to, at the very least, it's a place to talk. It's a place to get resources.
Friends are going to get you through. Your friends are going to get you through. Like, if they're good friends, they'll get you through the trauma, you know.
Any medication for overcoming trauma. It's very specific, usually anti-anxiety medication. Sometimes antidepressants are used.
I was on metrazepine for about a year, so to help me try to get sleep, etc. But for me, it's not an avenue I want to go down because I am naturally high. So I didn't want them to take away me, if you like. But I did use them, folks. So I did use them in assistance.
I want to say just a quick statement about medication. So medication does not change who you are. It's usually given to correct an imbalance or to help you cope with a really, really difficult temporary situation. But if anything, it makes you able to think better and able to focus and able to have the anxiety not interfere with your personality. So it brings out your best when prescribed properly and when it's appropriate. So, like, I'm not pro-medication, I'm not anti-medication, but I've seen it change people's lives when it's the appropriate medication at the right time. So we don't even prescribe medication, so I have no reason to either love it or...
I'm in the UK, and somebody said about paying for meds. I'm in the UK, folks, so we don't pay for meds or that, so I'm sorry.
Excellent.
Sorry if I'm speaking out of turn and saying things. I'm unaware that... Sorry, I didn't
That's okay.
need to say.
So anyways, Diane, you're one of the best examples I've ever seen of someone who realistically is in the process of getting better and healing. So you're an inspiration, truly. You got to go. Okay, Ailey, I'm sorry to see you go. So does anyone have any questions? We've been talking a lot, and I have to again say, I so appreciate your time, Diane. It's a pleasure to have you on. This is amazing. I'm glad we were able to do it. We will take more questions, and I appreciate we've had a steady stream of hearts here. And I think she's talking. I'm talking over her. No? Okay. Yeah, she is a gem. She's a gem. She should be a VIP gold member. And I've spoken to the Periscope higher ups about that. If you're watching this, she should just get a gold star. I don't care about the numbers. Anyway, any questions that anyone has, or Diane, do you have any other comments?
I just think, stay safe, take care of yourself, folks, because there's nobody else going to be taking care, and there's only one of you, and you're very, very unique, and you have to stay that way, folks, okay? So, from me to you, I just want you to know that you're not alone, okay? You may feel alone, but you aren't alone, okay? And I wish you a speedy recovery from the bottom of my heart, and I hope that I'll be able to check back soon and, make sure some of these are doing good.
Well, if you would like to, Diane, we could do this again for sure, no problem. So I want to thank everybody, and I know some people check into our broadcast every week or maybe twice a week, and they ask questions and they get a little bit of support because we're also here to support you. It's it's maybe not ideal. It's better to be with to have a friend right there or a therapist or a family member, but we're here to support you. That's our job also. So you can feel free to use us as a source of support. I definitely want to thank. We're going to start the long process of wrapping up. It takes a while, but we're going.
All the hearts.
Right. Look how many hearts we've got. So Air has given us 15,000 hearts.
Wow.
Periazzi 10,000 hearts just on this broadcast. Oatslayer 3,000 hearts. I can't read the other ones, but anyway, do you use a certain VR program to aid in PTSD? The best, all the best. Do you use a certain virtual reality program, or does that refer to something else?
No, I was going to say is that a virtual reality, and I actually work in virtual reality. I do coding. I actually work for Second Life. It's a 3D game that you can invest real money. But yes, I do virtual reality.
Hey, thanks, Air. I know that Air is joking. Yeah, those hearts are for Diane.
Can I just to say to you that we are working on a VR project that's going to help depression, anxiety, just so, yeah. So I'm just letting you know that we are kind of working on a project, but I don't know how long I'll be doing in the project. But yes, one of the things is to combat depression and anxiety and OCD sort of thing. So the virtual reality will be a different way to handle. Maybe it'll be better because we'll be able to actually see a bit in depth. Anyway, I don't want to take over the...
No, it's okay. So, Diane, we actually use virtual reality here to treat phobia. In fact, one of the therapists used it just yesterday. So the person...
That's cool.
The person's afraid of flying, and that we had visual imagery of like getting on a plane and like waiting for the plane to take off and the sounds of a plane. And we used it for someone who's a phobia about bees. They were afraid of bees, and we use it for relaxation. We're just like beginning to develop it fully. But Diane, we got to talk about that. I didn't know you do that. I learned something new about you today.
Fred, there's that much new about me. You'll be thinking, how comes this woman isn't, you know what I mean? I'll tell you why, because I don't really aspire for that side of things. That's why. So
anyway, we'll talk again.
Well, that's cool, Larry.
So guys, especially Scottish Diane fans who've joined us today, please follow us. We'd love to have you, and I thank you so much for participating. We've got a steady stream of hearts, or should I say Diane has a steady stream of hearts, and we appreciate our followers, your followers. So we are Psychological Services Long Island. We're going to have to end the broadcast, Diane. I'm sorry to see you go. I wish you well, feel better. I know you were under the weather this week.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to me and taking the time to pop in and visit and join Fred also. And Fred and his gang, they're all wonderful people. So give him and his team a follow. And I'm sure if any's had any problems and went to Fred, I'm sure they would help you.
Thank you so much, Scottish Diane. You're an inspiration. Truly, you are an inspiration. From the first time I saw your broadcast, you can ask people here. I said, wow, that's a positive person. So now that I know you better, I'm even more impressed. So thank you guys. Follow us, follow Scottish Diane, and we're here.
We are one.
Thank you. We are here every Monday and Friday at 1:30. So Eastern Standard Time on this side of the Atlantic. So Scottish Diane, bye-bye everybody, and goodbye viewers.
Bye.